Kia ora koutou katoa, it's Mrs. Goodson here, and this is lesson 9 for our science investigation for Biology 1.0. And the investigation is all about comparing breathing rate and heart rate as exercise increases. So, this video is about comparing the effects of aerobic and anaerobic exercise, and that is linked to aerobic and anaerobic respiration. So, first of all, a couple of definitions. So, aerobic respiration is with oxygen, in the presence of oxygen. So, for respiration, this happens in all cells. You need some glucose and some oxygen. So, on this side of that arrow are the ingredients, and what it makes is carbon dioxide, water, and it releases the energy from the glucose. And so, it is a exothermic reaction, and the sugar, the glucose, and the oxygen combined form these things. And so this form of energy is actually ATP, and that's in our cells. And so that's a form of energy that our bodies can use. So it releases the chemical potential energy from the glucose and creates it in a form that our cells can use. Now, just under here are the chemical formula for glucose. So this is glucose C6H12O6 is a carbohydrate, a simple sugar, and then we've got O2. We need 6 molecules of oxygen gas. So we've got, so this oxygen is carried by our red blood cells, as we've learned in an earlier video. And then we've got the glucose here. So for every 1 molecule of glucose, so that whole thing is glucose together, it's glucose plus 6 molecules of oxygen combined together to make 6 molecules of carbon dioxide and 6 molecules of water, plus, of course, that energy. So CO2 is our product here, and the other product is water. Now, our body can use the water. We need lots of water for our cells and our blood and everything, and so also for our sweat. So we definitely can use the water, but our body can't use the carbon dioxide. So we have to get rid of the carbon dioxide and breathe it out. So our blood carries it back to our lungs, and we breathe it out. This kind of respiration happens when we don't have oxygen. So we don't have enough oxygen, but we still need to get out some energy. So it's called anaerobic respiration, and it does still create some energy, not as much as aerobic respiration. Still get the energy out of the glucose, but this time it makes lactic acid. Okay, so there's the formula for glucose again, and this is the chemical formula for lactic acid, and it gets out some energy, but there's no oxygen. So when would our bodies need to carry out anaerobic respiration? So why do we breathe hard when we're sprinting? When you're sprinting, when you're running fast, maybe a bear is chasing you, your body cannot get oxygen to your muscles fast enough to carry out aerobic respiration. So it switches to anaerobic respiration. This means respiration without oxygen. This form of respiration is really good at getting energy fast, but it's a lot less efficient than aerobic exercise, aerobic respiration, and due to the buildup of this lactic acid. So that was one of the products from anaerobic respiration was lactic acid, and that feels like a burn in your muscles, and it can't carry on anaerobic for very long. But it's good if we need to sprint, someone's chasing us, a bear is chasing us, we need to get away, we just need to get that energy fast. Then our body switches to anaerobic respiration. There's another video here if you want to look up some more. Okay, so what is oxygen debt? When you have a short, intense burst of energy, such as sprinting, then you generate energy for this anaerobically or without oxygen. When you stop exercising, you are still breathing heavily, and I bet you've all experienced this. Last year when I did a bit of sprinting, it doesn't happen very often, but I did, and I stopped running, but I still had to breathe heavily to get in that oxygen. This is your body taking in extra oxygen to repay the debt. Well, that is a simple solution, but there's a little more to it if you want to look a bit deeper. True, your body has worked anaerobically and will have produced energy without some of the oxygen it would normally have used performing low intensity exercise, such as slow, steady running. So, if you're running a marathon, then your body can keep doing aerobic respiration. The difference between the oxygen the body required and what it actually managed to take in during the sudden sprint is called oxygen deficit or oxygen debt. So your body still needs oxygen to process the lactic acid, and that happens in your liver, but you need oxygen. So what happens is that you have a little bit of a deficit or a debt, don't have enough oxygen. So the difference is you want oxygen to this level, you don't have it. So this little bit here, you afterwards you need to repay the debt. That's your body paying back the oxygen. So what happens when you stop sprinting? When you stop sprinting and start to recover, you will actually need more oxygen to recover than your body would liked to have used during use had enough been available. This is called excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. And this is why you have to stop and breathe hard at the end of a sprint. So this video has been about respiration, the difference between aerobic respiration with oxygen and anaerobic respiration without oxygen, and when your body cells would do aerobic respiration and when your body cells would do anaerobic. And we had the word and the symbol equations, and we explained why your body switches to anaerobic. So it needs a fast burst of energy, like when you're sprinting, and also describe what oxygen debt is, which explains why you breathe hard at the end of a sprint. And so this video has been about comparing aerobic and anaerobic respiration.